The Minister for Employment, Labour and Jobs, Dr. Rashid Pelpo, says more than 400 companies have applied for government incentives to participate in the 24-hour economy program. According to him, the incentives are designed to support the private sector to create more value, boost exports and expand employment opportunities across various sectors of the economy. Speaking to City News following the presidential assent to the 24-hour Economy Authority Bill, Dr. Pelpo says the intervention is expected to significantly transform Ghana's economy. Ni Ayikoyokai reports.
Parliament passed the 24-hour Economy Authority Bill 2025, paving the way for President John Dramani Mahama to assent to the legislation for the establishment of the 24-hour Economy Authority. The authority is mandated to ensure integrated and sustainable transformation of national systems for economic production, supply chains marketing, and labor power development. It will also be responsible for proposing incentive regimes applicable to companies operating within the 24-hour economy value chain, including fiscal and monetary incentives. In addition, the authority is expected to promote the optimization of the volume, variety and quality of goods produced in the country for both domestic consumption and export. Speaking to ChannelOne News, the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Dr. Rashid Pelpo, disclosed that more than 400 private companies have applied for incentives to enroll onto the 24-hour economy program.
It's giving the economy a new breath, meaning that we are pumping into the private sector the kinds of incentives that can let them employ more people, create more value. If they are exporting, they export more, and be able to move this economy to the next level. So the 24-hour economy is a very important economic policy that is going to touch every sector of the economy and will have a total effect on the growth of the country's economy and the nation as a whole. So it was good the president signed the bill into law. It's now an act. And once it is an act, it requires us to stand up and work more. Young people are going to be employed in areas where we are going to have 24-hour economy in operation. About 442 companies have approached us and say they want the incentives that will enable them to work 24 hours. It requires that more people are going to be employed.
He further attributed the collapse of the one district, one factory policy under the administration of former President Akufo-Addo to the absence of a legal framework to sustain the intervention.
What was the legal frame of the one district, one factory? I mean, something has to be binding and compulsory and compelling for another government to pick it up and run with it. I don't know of any compelling factor about. What I know about it is that it has failed. I mean, if you go to every region and tell them to give you 2 factories that are in operation, working, you can't find them in my region. I can't find them. The whole of Upper West region, you can't find one factory producing and exporting or supplying anywhere and all that. I think that it was more of a political pronouncement than a serious economic venture. And so no government will pick such a thing which is going to be a burden on you, rather than doing something that is much more practical, much more intrusive into the needs to create more value into the country.
On this 24-hour economy story, we're joined in studio by the Member of Parliament for Efia, the Honorable Isaac Boama Nyako, to help us discuss this very matter much more in detail. Good evening to you, Honorable. Thank you for coming.
Good evening, and thanks for having me.
I mean, your side criticized government for not implementing the 24-hour economy in the first year of this new administration. The government says that it is now moving from strategy to implementation following the assent of the bill. The president said that. And you are still criticizing the government for this.
No, of course, because primarily, what are the expectations of Ghanaians in terms of the 1D, 1F? If you take it from the angle where they promised Ghanaians 3 jobs for one, 3 shifts for one particular job, they actually outlined in their manifesto that institutions like DVLA, the port, passport office, amongst others, were going to run 24 hours. And so 1 year down the line, if you are now giving us the policy document and then the legal framework, ours is to interrogate the framework and then the legal backing to see whether it satisfies the intention that was advocated at the time. And being part of the legislators that passed that bill, I saw that the document was deficit in terms of content, because once you're establishing an authority to run the program, you expect that the object and then the functions of the authority will clearly give us a direction in terms of how the program is going to run.
They didn't give us that.
They didn't give that kind of information. They promised that this is just an authority to oversee the administration of it, but the meat is in the policy document. The challenge is 1 year. This is their most touted program initiative in terms of their campaign. And you look at what they are now discussing, from what the Minister for Employment is saying, that currently about 440-something companies are interested. Do you have an idea how many companies signed up for the 1D, 1F? Go and check. The 1D, 1F had in excess of 600 companies. At the time in 2023 to 2024, we had rolled up close to 200 companies having fully participated and gone for the 1D, 1F, employing directly over 15,000 people within the 1D, 1F. So these are no new.
But 400 companies showing interest at the very initial stages of this policy is a good sign, right?
But you don't need the 24-hour economy structure to let it happen. Why do we have the Ministry of Trade? Why do we have the Ministry of Agriculture? So these are already existing ministries that are providing the enabling environment for businesses to flourish. What do businessmen need? What do the companies need? They need tax incentives. They need financial support. And these ones, you don't need a 1D, 1, how do you call it, the 24-hour economy to provide it. Government knows exactly what they need to do. We said we have stabilized the economy. That is one good indication for business people to come in and do business. You need to make sure that access to credit. You have told us that the inflation has gone down. Borrowing rates have gone down. But how many companies are able to access credit? So these are the fundamentals that you need to put in place. It's not just by branding. So what I see in the 24-hour economy is a rebranded 1D, 1F, like they did in the Big Push. The Big Push were all projects that were being run by the MPP government in terms of the road infrastructure. They repackaged it and called it Big Push. So I see this more as 1D, 1F being reviewed and being called.
I mean, if government brings to Parliament tax incentives, a package of tax incentives for these companies, would your side support this? Because I remember that in 2024, your side tried to push through about $300 million of tax incentive for 1D, 1F companies. The minority at the time did not accept this and ultimately rejected it. Will your side accept and
so what would have changed from why they didn't accept tax incentives last 2 years, and why we should accept it this time?
They said they were not transparent.
So they should show us the transparency they are bringing on board. So at the end of the day, these are the double standards that doesn't promote business development in this country. Because of political expediency, you try to block good initiatives of government just so we will stifle the growth of the economy. We don't provide the jobs for the people. And then when you win an election, you go by the back door and you want to come. Everything the minister has talked about and everything businesses want are tax incentives, tax waivers. And so this one, this project, the 24-hour economy project, is just a facilitation of bringing some incentives to encourage industries and manufacturers to take advantage of. And so if you denied people, and even when they came into power in 2025, we brought back these same concerns to them, that once you have taken over power, can you go back and look at the 1D, 1F? Wherever the challenges are, you're a government. You can revise it so that companies that had brought in investment to create employment for our people, they can continue to do their business. But they had not, and this is why they are bringing in this 24-hour economy, saying that about 400. When they bring the list, we will do a thorough review.
Okay.
And you realize that almost all the companies are companies that applied for the
1D1F. Right. Now, whether we like it or not, even though you have concerns, this is the government flagship program to create jobs. The people of Efia, of course, they do need jobs. So how do you intend to tap into this 24-hour economy policy to get jobs for the people of Efia?
Yes, we want jobs for the people of Ghana, including the good people of Efia. You ask yourself in 2025, how many jobs did they create? Next to nothing. They couldn't give us any statistical data to tell us how many jobs they've created. 2026, they said they are going to create about 800,000 jobs. You know where they said the jobs were coming from? From the big push, which is temporal. So even in terms of policy direction, in terms of the programs they want to do, there's no clarity as to how many jobs they expect the 24-hour economy area to generate. But of course, as a responsible opposition, we are going to make sure that we interrogate it. Anything they bring to us in Parliament, we are going to look at it closely. If it deserves our support, why not? All we need is a good country that creates opportunities for the youth, that the youth will be employed so that they can take care of their needs.
Okay, briefly on the matters of the cocoa sector. Your side, you were expected to meet the finance minister, I think yesterday. Did you meet him? What transpired?
I've not gotten full briefing. When we were in Parliament, I knew Kojo Nkrumah and team had left for the Ministry of Finance to engage the finance minister. I've not gotten much indication whether it came on and what the matters had been. So possibly on Monday, I can take a look at it and then I can brief you.
And briefly before you go, I mean, you're a member of the NPP. You're part of the Presidential Elections Committee. Your party has now outlined the processes for the election of national executives, constituency executives, polling station executives, the bottom down approach now. What do you make of how the party has handled the post-presidential elections and this new outlining of the next steps?
Well, I think we should pat ourselves on our back as a political party, looking at the tensions that were on during the presidential primaries. We didn't get all perfect in terms of some of the utterances that came up, but by and large, I think we had a very successful process. And so the tone is set for us to do our reorganization from the base. So the timelines have come. I believe the guidelines that came were very thorough in terms of making sure that we really go down, expand the base, make sure that people who are qualified contest and then are elected to serve in those offices. All that we are looking forward is a very stronger political party than we saw a year or two ago. I believe that with the new election of our flag bearer, it gives us some focus in terms of his vision. Very soon, I'm sure the flag bearer will share with the good people of Ghana his vision going into the 2028 elections. And so this reorganization from the base, polling station coordinators up to the national level is going to give us some impetus that will feed into our ability to recapture power come 2028.
And recently, a former leader of the House, Osechema Bonsu, he mentioned that the NPP should not be organizing parliamentary primaries in areas where you have sitting MPs, and that you shouldn't do so in the orphan constituencies. I've heard some political scientists really attack this and say, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. What do you make of it? Should the NPP go ahead and organize primaries in all the constituencies?
No, I think the party would have to take stock of what is going on. Of course, the party takes decisions in terms of elections and selection of people to contest, because we all contest on the tickets of the party. I believe that everybody that came to Parliament on the ticket of the NPP won the very hard way. So 3 years down the line, if you do your own check with the base and nothing has changed in terms of their popularity, then why do you want to go and do another contest? And so I'm not against that idea, not because I'm worried. I've done my job in my constituency. I'm always there. every week or two I'm there, I'm engaging the party, I'm engaging the broader community. But the issue is you have over 189 constituencies to go after. So why do you want to damage the very little that you have and then go and add the 190 or 180 that is not available? So these are all political decisions. I think when they interrogate it very closely, we should come to a compromise position where the party puts forward candidates that are winnable, candidates that can energize the base to give the votes for both the parliamentary numbers and the presidential.
Grateful to you, Honorable. The Honorable Isaac Boama Nyako, the Member of Parliament for Efia, joining us in studio to discuss some matters in the House of Parliament.